feel the heat.
Oh my God.
Last year, wildfires in BC forced 48,000 people from their homes, some given just minutes to leave. 28,000 square kilometers, an area about the size of Albania, went up in flames, double the previous record. And amid a month-long provincial state of emergency, officials claim social media companies did not help.
I call on Facebook again. Mr. Zuckerberg, open up access to Canadian media so that British Columbians can share critical local information so they can be safe. It's incredibly frustrating to me.
This year, wildfires are already burning in BC, and experts warn this season could be destructive again. The provincial government is once again imploring Meta, the company that owns Facebook and Instagram, to unblock Canadian news on its platforms when critical information needs to get out.
It's important for us to explore all opportunities available to us to bring that information to where people are at. And a lot of people are on social media.
So why is Meta blocking Canadian news? Now, this is because of the Federal Online News Act. That's a piece of legislation that compels tech giants to pay when they use Canadian outlets' stories on their platforms. So far, Alphabet, which owns Google and YouTube, has agreed to pay, but Meta, which owns Instagram and Facebook, has not. And since July, they haven't allowed any Canadian news on their platforms. And experts say at a time of crisis, when information is critical, that is a problem.
Because you have a segment of the population that doesn't rely on newspapers. And, the vast majority of Canadians, and statistics show this, get most of their content from social media.
Daniel Chai is an adjunct professor of business law and technology at the University of Toronto.
Companies like Meta and other large big tech companies like to trumpet their corporate social responsibility. But when it really comes down to it, they're just focused on the almighty buck. And they're willing to compromise and put people's health and safety at risk.
Chai argues the feds could compel Meta to share information during emergencies and could take a harder line with the company.
I don't think we've had a government that's really demonstrated the courage to really stand up to big tech.
The federal heritage minister today slammed Meta, once again urging the company to unblock news, especially during wildfire season, adding, quote, "Their actions send a troubling message. They consider themselves above oversight in the public interest, legislation promised during elections, and even the smallest and most reasonable regulation." Meta did not respond to CBC's request for comment. So while the focus over the next few months will be what happens on the front lines, it's not clear who will share what information online. Liam Britton, CBC News, Vancouver.